trapped in a stormy elevator. She paid him $200,000 to fake being her boyfriend. A broken bar, but secrets unraveled. The elevator lurched to a violent stop between the 23rd and 24th floors, throwing Sophia Chen against the mirrored wall as the lights flickered and died. In the suffocating darkness, her heart hammered against her ribs like a caged bird desperate for freedom. Thunder crashed outside the building, and she could hear the rain pelting against the windows somewhere in the distance. But it wasn't the storm that terrified her, it was the man standing 3 feet away, the stranger she'd paid $200,000 to pretend to love her. "Are you okay?" Marcus Williams' voice cut through the darkness, surprisingly gentle for someone who was essentially her employee. The emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in an eerie red glow that made the small space feel even more claustrophobic. Sophia pressed her back against the wall, trying to steady her breathing. "I'm fine," she lied, though her voice betrayed her with a slight tremble. She'd built a tech empire worth billions, faced down ruthless competitors and hostile takeovers. But being trapped in a confined space with nowhere to run made her feel like that scared little girl hiding in closets again. Marcus noticed her distress immediately. Without a word, he shrugged off his navy blazer and held it out to her. "You're shivering." She wanted to refuse. Maintaining professional boundaries was crucial in their arrangement, but the warmth of the jacket when she wrapped it around her shoulders was undeniably comforting. It smelled like cedar and something uniquely him, a scent that had become familiar over the past 3 months of their carefully orchestrated charade. "The backup generator should kick in soon," he said, settling down on the floor and patting the space beside him. "Might as well get comfortable." "Could be a while." Sophia remained standing, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. "We should call for help." "Already tried." "No signal." Marcus held up his phone, the screen showing 0 bars. "Don't worry, building security knows we're here. They'll get us out." The silence stretched between them, filled only by the rumble of thunder and the mechanical groaning of the building swaying in the wind. Sophia had hired Marcus through a discreet agency, a professional boyfriend for hire who could convincingly play the role of her devoted partner at family gatherings, business events, and social functions. Her grandmother's dying wish had been to see her happily settled, and Sophia couldn't bear to disappoint the woman who'd raised her after her parents' death. The arrangement was supposed to be simple, clean, and temporary. Just until the inheritance paperwork was finalized and her meddling relatives stopped questioning her single status. But nothing about Marcus Williams was simple. "You know," he said quietly, "you don't have to stand guard over there. I'm not going to suddenly demand a raise or renegotiate our contract just because we're stuck." Despite everything, Sophia found herself smiling. That's exactly what someone planning to renegotiate would say. "Fair point." His laugh was warm and genuine, not the practiced charm he usually displayed at their public appearances. "But I'm more of a straightforward negotiator, less ambush tactics, more honest conversation." Another lightning flash illuminated the small space, and Sophia caught a glimpse of something in his expression, a weariness that she'd never noticed before. Slowly, she sank down beside him, careful to maintain a respectful distance. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Shoot." "Why do you do this?" "I mean, really? The agency said you have a master's degree in social work. You could be doing something more traditional." Marcus was quiet for a long moment, staring at the emergency phone that remained frustratingly silent. "My sister," he finally said. "She's 15, and she's been in and out of foster care since our parents died 5 years ago. The system, it's broken. I'm trying to become her legal guardian, but lawyers are expensive, and stable housing costs more than my social work salary could ever cover. This job pays enough that I can give her a real home." Sophia felt something shift inside her chest, a crack in the carefully constructed walls she'd built around her heart. "I had no idea." "It's not exactly the kind of thing you put in your professional boyfriend resume," he said with a self-deprecating smile. "But that's why I do this. Every smile I fake, every hand I hold, every darling I whisper for show, it's all for Emma, to give her the childhood she deserves. The elevator shuddered, and the emergency lights flickered ominously. In the brief darkness, Sophia found herself reaching for Marcus's hand without thinking. When the light returned, neither of them pulled away. I lost my parents too, she whispered. I was 12. My grandmother took me in, but the relatives, they always made me feel like a burden, like I had to earn my place in the family by being perfect, by achieving more, by never showing weakness. She paused, surprised by her own honesty. I guess that's why I'm so afraid of letting anyone get close. What if they realize I'm not worth the effort? Marcus squeezed her hand gently. Sophia, you do realize you're one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the country, right? You've created jobs for thousands of people and revolutionized data security. You're definitely worth the effort. That's business, she said, shaking her head. That's different, is it? He turned to face her fully. You know what I've learned about you these past 3 months? You tip restaurant servers 50% because you know they're working hard for their money. You remember every employee's name in your building, including the night janitors. You donated anonymously to rebuild that elementary school after the fire, and you think no one knows. But I saw the paperwork on your desk. You care about people, Sophia. You just hide it behind spreadsheets and board meetings. The elevator shuddered again, more violently this time, and the lights went out completely. In the absolute darkness, Sophia felt panic rising in her throat like a tide. I can't breathe, she gasped. I can't. Hey. You're okay. Marcus's voice was calm and steady as his arms came around her. You're safe. I'm right here. Breathe with me, okay? In for 4 counts. She followed his breathing pattern, focusing on the steady rhythm of his voice and the solid warmth of his presence. Gradually, the panic receded, leaving her feeling drained but grateful. How did you know? She asked quietly. Emma has panic attacks sometimes. From the trauma, I've learned a few tricks. They sat in comfortable silence until the elevator suddenly lurched back to life, the regular lighting flooding the space as they began their descent to the ground floor. Sophia should have moved away from Marcus's embrace, should have restored the professional distance between them, but she couldn't bring herself to let go of this moment of genuine connection. As the doors opened to reveal a crowd of worried building security guards and maintenance workers, Sophia made a decision that surprised even herself. Marcus, she said, still holding his hand as they stepped out of the elevator. Would you like to have dinner tonight? Not for show, not for the contract, just us. His smile was radiant. I'd love that. And Marcus, bring Emma. I'd like to meet her. 3 months later, as Sophia watched Marcus help 15-year-old Emma with her algebra homework at their kitchen table, because somewhere between that night in the elevator and now, the lines between pretend and real had blurred beyond recognition as she realized that sometimes the best things in life came from the most unexpected places. The fake relationship contract had expired weeks ago. Neither of them had mentioned renewing it. They didn't need to. What they'd found in that trapped elevator wasn't something that could be purchased or performed. It was something real, something worth more than any amount of money. It was love, built on a foundation of honesty, vulnerability, and the kind of trust that could only be forged in the darkness. Emma looked up from her homework and grinned. Are you two going to be gross and romantic again? Because I have a math test to study for. Marcus and Sophia exchanged a look, and both burst into laughter. Definitely, Sophia said, ruffling Emma's hair. But homework first. Deal, Emma said, then added more quietly, thanks for giving us a home, Sophia. As thunder rumbled softly in the distance, your gentle sound now, not the terrifying crash that had once trapped them. Sophia realized she'd finally found what she'd been searching for all along. Not just love, but a family. Not just success, but significance. And it had all started with $200,000 and a broken elevator that had forced her to stop running from the very thing she'd needed most. Sometimes, she thought, the best investments weren't the ones you planned,